Hello, dear friends. Many psychics say we will see significant changes before the end of August, particularly in July, but we will have to wait and see if they are right. Opinion piece. New incorruptible system. Systemic realignment. New financial architecture. The Titanic didn't sink because of an iceberg. Let's start. The incorruptible operating system of global wealth is called the Quantum Financial System QFS. According to Gadian Daniel, the global financial system is collapsing amid the bond and petrodollar crisis because it is built on an obsolete architecture called SWIFT. The centralized fiat monetary system is subject to inflationary manipulation through the printing of infinite money, used as a weapon through geopolitical sanctions, and highly vulnerable to information technology. The new financial system is not a utopian concept, but rather the architecture of the new era that has already been implemented and cannot be manipulated. It ensures validation through real tangible assets, such as gold and commodities, and serves as a fraud-proof distribution mechanism for the coming universal high income. With the advent of commercial quantum computing, traditional encryption models inherited from global banking lose their security overnight. An incorruptible systemic reset requires a transition to a new decentralized ledger architecture with quantum encryption. Stripped of speculative narratives, the actual infrastructure of the QFS is already fully operational behind the scenes of secondary banking. This infrastructure is built on two verifiable pillars of modern computer science: the ISO 20022 standard and the MacBridge project, initiated under the auspices of the Bank for International Settlements, controlled by the White Hats. The MBridge project is a decentralized platform through which central banks execute instant and secure global trade without going through the legacy SWIFT network. In 2026, revenues from the massive sale of treasury bonds by the BRICS Plus Alliance are flowing directly to support this new asset-based system. The new cryptography uses quantum key distribution. Data is transmitted as photons in a quantum state. Any attempt to intercept or manipulate the transmission alters the physical state of the particles, causing the bridge to fail and be automatically lost. The MBridge project is a decentralized platform through which central banks execute instant and secure global trade without going through the legacy SWIFT network. The application of this quantum ledger globally in real time requires a decentralized infrastructure located in space. This is fulfilled by the strategic role played by SpaceX Starlink satellite constellation. Starlink is the only existing system capable of providing the physical network for a global quantum internet network without censorship. Together with the new gigantic scale artificial intelligence computing centers, all of these forms the indestructible processing array of the QFS. Titanic. The Titanic didn't sink because of an iceberg. It was a sinking caused by insurance to create the Federal Reserve. Three men stood in the way of the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. Three of the wealthiest and most powerful opponents of a private central bank controlling the money supply: Benjamin Guggenheim, Isidor Straus, and Job Jacobs Astor fourth. All three were traveling on the Titanic. All three died that night. All three had publicly declared they would use their wealth and political influence to prevent the creation of a central banking system. 40 months after they drowned, the Federal Reserve Act was enacted into law, with no powerful opposition left to stop it. Coincidence is the word they use when the pattern is too obvious to explain otherwise. J.P. Morgan had a ticket for the Titanic. He cancelled it 24 hours before departure, claiming illness. 2 days later, he was photographed in France in perfect health with his mistress, Morgan's partner. Milton Hersey also cancelled at the last minute, as were dozens of other influential figures in the banking sector who had booked their passage. The ship sailed without any major banking figures on board, while carrying the three most powerful opponents of the plan: the central bank 55 first-class passengers cancellations in the 48 hours before departure, the highest cancellation rate of any maiden voyage in White Star Line history. They knew it. Everyone knew it. 1,517 people perished so that private bankers could own the money. They called it a tragedy. It was a business transaction. 3 men refused to accept the Federal Reserve. They were put on a ship destined to sink. 130 years later, the bank they fought to prevent is being dismantled. Breaking news. Another Oumuamua discovered in the solar system. Japan will intercept it. A giant spaceship emerged from the Pacific in 1982. Russian sailors saw it. Spy dragonfly flies. In the 70s, the CIA developed the Insectopter, a dragonfly-shaped microdrone for surveillance. The UN is on the verge of bankruptcy after the US withheld $4 billion. Modern systems prioritize profit over human dignity, which demands a redefinition of merit according to being in wave. In Europe, the Strait of Hormuz crisis cost the European Union 62 billion euros. The European project has reached its limit. A centralized bureaucracy replacing politics, eroding legitimacy and pointing once again towards sovereign and competitive states, according to Frank Christian Hansel. Bolivian lawmakers approve a new law regulating the state of emergency after 38 days of conflict. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.